Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders Worldwide Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, where leaders are made.
And let's welcome our president, Rosemary Sweeney.
Thank you so much, Alex, for introducing me to the meeting this afternoon or morning, evening. I say afternoon because it is midday for me. But it's 2 o'clock. We are going to have an amazing meeting, and I welcome our guests. I notice we have a guest, Steve. Steve, can you tell us something about yourself or me, because I seem to be the only person who haven't met you?
Okay. Well, my name's Steve Today. I've been a Toastmaster in District 57 since 2008, and I'm a member of 3 clubs, the esteemed Oakland 88, Alameda Tongue Twisters, and Speakers Forum, and I enjoy visiting Leaders Worldwide.
Okay, we are happy to have you, and we enjoy your presence. So I will be looking forward to meeting you not only in the day, but in the evenings also, if possible. And
nice.
at this time, let us I call on our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Carrie. Let us make her feel welcome. No, not Carrie. Our Toastmaster of the day, Dee Marie. Dee Marie, and to switch your position. Let's make her feel welcome.
Thank you so much. And I would like to hear something from Michelle Pedicola. I know we don't consider her as a guest, but she is today. So would you say a word or two, Michelle?
Yes, so I am a member and VPE of Heart to Heart Toastmasters, and I'm also part of the team Toastmaster Time TV, and I think I'm also the Speechcraft manager or director for District 57. And I am competing in the evaluation contest for the division level this Thursday. Back to you.
Well, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So we will proceed with our meeting, and the theme of the meeting today is the contender within you. And I thought that was appropriate because we just got through the club and area contest. And now comes the first biggie, the division contest. How much of a competitor are you? And how much of a contender were you going through the club and the area contest? What it did was it ignited your enthusiasm. And if you won, you were on top of the world, no matter what point you won at. If you came in second, you're the person that's going to follow up in case the first place winner can't be there. So you still are excited. And even if you lost, you had a chance to be on that stage and put your expertise and let them hear your voice. So that in itself is great. I'll be giving little tidbits as we go along as to how that will help you in your journey with Toastmasters. But before we do all that, I would like to have my role players introduce themselves, starting with Sally Reyes, who is our grammarian, and she will give us the word of the day.
Oh, Sally couldn't make it. She's under construction again.
So Sally number 2 will be Cynthia. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Toastmaster. So I'm here to introduce the word of the day, Celebrate good times. Oh, yeah. Celebrate. That's our word of the day because we're celebrating because we were in the competitions and we won the competitions, or we're celebrating that the competition is over and we're done with our duties and we can relax and enjoy. I know Dee Marie is. I will be celebrating on Friday morning because that's when my division contest will be complete. So as your grammarian today, I will count your words of the day. Please use the word of the day in all of your speeches, evaluations, and table topics. And I'm going to be counting your ums. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for that explanation, Cynthia. And now we will hear from actually our timer. The agenda says that I will explain the timing for our prepared speeches. And according to the agenda, both prepared speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. So would you please explain that for us, Denise?
Hi, thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. My name is Denise de Gregoire. I'm going to be timing the speeches today, the evaluations, and the table topics, as well as the minute of silence. The first two speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I'm going to put up a green. It'll look like that. 5 minutes, I'll put up a green, yellow for 6, and at 7, red. Well, you'll have 30 seconds to wrap. For the table topics, it'll be a minute and a half or a minute to 2 minutes. So at a minute, green, minute and a half, yellow, and red at 2 minutes, and you'll have 30 seconds to wrap. And then the evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes green, 2.5 yellow, 3 red, 30 seconds to wrap. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate that. And the first of our prepared speeches or speakers is Maya Catherine. And her speech content and information will be introduced to us by her evaluator, who is Steve today. Steve, the mic is yours.
I would be delighted. And Maya is on the Pathways Motivational Strategies, Level 1, Option 1, Intro to Vocal Variety and Body Language. It's 5 to 7 minutes. And would you like me to give the title, or will you do that, Dee Marie?
I'm flexible. Go with it.
Okay. Maya Catherine, the many breakups after the big breakup. The many breakups after the big breakup. Maya Catherine.
How many of you like breakups? Raise your hands if you're really happy to have a breakup in your life. I didn't think I would see any raised hands because no one likes breakups. It's heartbreaking. It makes you feel sad. And then it makes you think, was that a failure in my life? But the worst thing after a breakup is when you're not able to make a clean break. You try to forget about the ex, you try to move on, but the ghost of ex's past seems to linger in your energy days after, weeks after, years after. And sometimes you wonder, is that energy blocking me from new beginnings? Well, the answer is yes. Often, we think that physical separation means energetic separation. And we wonder why we can't shake certain things off, or why new beginnings are not coming into our lives. Well, energy has an imprint, and energy leaves a footprint. There have been talks all over the world in the past few years regarding energy healing, energy clearing. It's obvious that people understand the power of energy and the importance of releasing it from our lives once it doesn't serve us anymore. So what do you do when it comes to breakups? A couple quotes I have in here from Tony Robbins. It says, where focus goes, energy flows. So if something in your environment still reminds you of the old relationship, then the energy would go back in there. Bruce Lipton, a very famous personal development coach, says, says energy. Can we mute? Are we able to mute this person? Thank you. Bruce Lipton even says that one's energy can cancel or affect another's energy. So how do you make sure that when you break up, you make a clean break, that the energy is out of your space, your environment, and you're able to welcome new beginnings? Well, I call that the many breakups after the big breakup. And it's not going to be easy, what I'm going to say, but sometimes tough decisions bring us to the abundance and goals and results that we want. So why do you have to break up after you break up? Number one, break up with belongings. Why are you still wearing your ex-boyfriend's t-shirt after the breakup? That just keeps the energy in your environment. And again, where focus goes, energy flows. As you're seeing that all the time, how do you expect the energy of a new person, a new partner to come in your environment? Second thing, break up with your space. Did you share an apartment together? When you open your door every morning, do you see, oh, he used to sit over here. Oh, she used to watch TV over there. Does that keep bringing you back to the past? I say, get rid of it. And if you can, rearrange the space, sage the space, repaint the space. There are many things that you can do to remove the energy. Break up with friends and family. That's a little tough, but sometimes you had friends that became your friends just because you were in a relationship. If you stick with them and all they're talking about is the ex, how is that helping you move on? Break up with social media is the next one. Are you still following your ex on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube? No bueno. That just keeps the energy in your space. Well, I'm gonna go somewhere. Breaking up with intimate energy. Yeah, I said it. Sometimes you need to give your body a break in between relationships. Sexual energy stays in the cells, in your body, in your heart. And sometimes you have to give enough time for that to go before a new one can come in. Break up with resentment and regret, because sometimes that also keeps the old in your energy. Forgive and forget and move on. And finally, break up with old dreams. You wish you would have gone and moved out in the country and got horses and just drove around the country together. You have to be willing to break up with that in order for new beginnings to come in your life. Those breakups are not easy, but is it easy to constantly be haunted by ghosts of exes past? Is it easy to not be able to find a new beginning? I think it's worth the effort. And when you get rid of so many things, sometimes you bless others too. You could donate or you could make money from it. You could sell some things. Whatever it is, just remember that you want to be at peace and you want to be free. And if something in your house, something in your social media, something with your friends group is interfering with that and bringing you back to the past, then they need to go. It's called tough love, but there's a love part in the tough love. And that's what you should focus on. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Maya. Let's give her a round of applause. And I would be remiss if I did not share with you a little bit about Maya Catherine. Maya Catherine is an emotional health and emotional wellness expert and advocate. She's an author, a speaker, a certified emotional intelligence practitioner, and writing coach. Maya believes that anyone can thrive in life, even after hardship, with emotional healing and mindset realignment. Maya is passionate about guiding those who, like her, wish to share their stories to motivate, inspire, and empower others. My goodness. Madam Timer, can we have 1 minute on the clock, please, so we can reach out to Maya?
Time's up.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. And our next speaker is Diana Ordonez, and her evaluator is Michelle Peticola. So Michelle, would you read the speech information on Diana, please?
I would be happy to. Diana Ordonez is giving her speech from the Pathway Leadership Development. She's on level 2, Managing Time is the Project. And Diana Ordonez is a certified high-performance coach and board-certified coach with a master's in industrial organization or industrial organizational psychology, formerly a successful product manager, management director. Her journey took a transformative turn through a series of tragic losses. Her transformation and reinvention has led her to live a thriving life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Now, as a life coach, Diana guides leaders to navigate life's complexities intentionally. Today, she will share insights on impactful decision-making and crafting a purposeful life. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
So I present to you Diana Ordonez, How to Get More Done. How to Get More Done. Diana Ordonez, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. In 2018, I was at the height of my product management career. I was leading multiple teams, about to launch my product vision, and I was speaking at major conferences. At home, I had a beautiful baby girl, a loving and supportive husband. And despite everything seeming perfect, I was unhappy and unfulfilled, caught up in this routine chaos. I was in this endless cycle trying to figure out, how can I get more done? In April of 2020, the beginning of the pandemic, the world was shut down. And after all those years of trying to figure out how to get more done, I realized it wasn't about getting more done. It was about making more of my time. I now live out my calling, empowering leaders to figure out how to regain the clarity and the confidence that they need to thrive in their careers without postponing their true desires. And one of the things that I do with them is getting a clear picture of what it is that they're applying their energy, their time, and their money towards that reflects their true values and how they're living them out. You see, there are 4 things that we often overlook when we try to think about productivity. And today, I hope that this will change your perspective on productivity. That very first step of developing a clear vision is about looking at your entire life, assessing everything in your life, and setting aside real time to think and reflect. Oftentimes, when we're caught up in that routine chaos, what that means is that we're living in survival mode and we're no longer able to really rationalize and make choices about where we're spending our time and our energy. We're really just trying to check off items off a to-do list without really assessing whether or not this is something I truly desire in my life anymore. And so connecting with that desire for the future self and the future life that you hope to build is actually the beginning, not the end point of productivity. When we're in survival mode, we're actually flushing or filling our systems with cortisol, which impacts our decision making. We're in fight or flight mode. We're either trying to just cross off these items off our to-do list, or almost avoiding everything that we really have to get done. So describing our future self and connecting with that desire, that real aspiration for who we hope to become in the future and how that aligns with our values, is how we then make decisions about what goes in our calendars. So the second thing we work on is identifying what the priorities in our life are. Not just identifying them, because many of us say that our health and our family and our well-being is our top priority. And yet when we look at our calendar objectively, we recognize that those priorities weren't the first to find time on our calendar. They are only getting the scraps. And so when we set priorities, it's about first putting in the time slots in real time of how much we want to assign to our family, our wellness, our health, and then seeing where do we fit in all these goals and aspirations that we have for our careers. And not only that, identifying and protecting those non-negotiables. If you say your health is your top priority, and yet it seems like it always falls off your calendar, it's usually that we're not setting firm boundaries for the things that mean most to us. That means we keep our appointments with other people, but we're not keeping our appointments with ourselves. And the second thing is not only identifying the way that we need to spend our time, but identifying not only what are the items on the to-do list, but what are the things that are going to actually move you forward. Identifying that one thing that is going to make everything else easier or not even necessary. Having that time set aside to think about what you truly desire, and then identifying the motion that is going to get you closer to that goal the fastest, is really where we should be dedicating our time. And being courageous enough to protect that is part of being able to make the most of our time. And that's where protecting our energy comes in, which is our third step. Committing to those boundaries, right? You can't be everything to everyone. And so being clear about what our priorities are and when we can or can't commit to other things is kind. Many of us are afraid to set boundaries, but we have to understand that when we're clearer, we are able to be kind to them, because we're no longer going to set expectations that we don't want to meet or we can't meet. That means that we're not going to hold resentment, that we're not going to miss deadlines, right? And sometimes that takes an enormous amount of courage, not only to set the boundaries, but then to commit to no longer playing small, keeping the promises to ourselves and managing our limiting beliefs around what we're capable of. So committing to that unstoppable courage is how we experience growth. Not only saying, these are the steps that are going to get me to my goal, but what is the one step I can make that will make everything else easier or no longer necessary? And having it be that stretch goal that takes you beyond what you thought was possible for you. And testing out those limiting beliefs. Is it really what you believe is possible for yourself? Or is it a limiting belief? And so next time that you're trying to get more done, I encourage you to take these 4 steps. We often overlook that actually taking the time to assess our original vision is where we fall short of making the most of our time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. Wow. So before I give a minute on the clock, let me say that if you are someone who wants to celebrate having set your goal as a contender, then the next word that should resonate with you is repetition. Because by repeating your speech, practicing it over and over, you don't have to get on the stage to see if you remember it. You've practiced the speech, it becomes a part of you. You understand what the content is, and you learn to say it from that perspective. And eventually, it will automatically be something that you have remembered because you practiced enough to make it a part of you. Madam Timer, can we have a moment on the clock, please?
Time's up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. Now, at this juncture in our meeting, we're going to have Denise explain the timing for our table topics presentation. I know she went over them earlier, but I don't want anyone to forget what the time frame looks like and what you need to do to qualify with your table topic answer. Denise?
Thank you, Dee Marie. The table topics are 1 minute to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will put up the green. At 1.5 minutes, I'll put up the yellow. It'll be covered. And at red, at 3 minutes, I'll put up red, in which you'll have 30 seconds to wrap. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, and she did mean at 2 minutes. Okay, it will turn to red and you'll have 30 seconds. And our table topics master is Cassandra Garabedian. Cassandra, you have the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Dee Marie. Wow. We had some wonderful speeches this morning. Let's celebrate our speakers. They did a wonderful job. And our theme for this morning is the contender within you. We had some wonderful speeches that the speakers, they brought it home today. So I'm going to, with our table topics this morning, I'm asking each and every one of you to participate, whether you spoke today or whether you were just sitting back listening as a spectator here today, to dig deep down inside, because I'm pretty sure that at one point in time, you were excited and passionate. A speaker in your career, at one point in time, so passionate about what you were doing, about how your life was going in your career, that you just couldn't stand it, and that you want to tell the world about it. So now here's your chance to think of that one moment in time that stood out in your life you, the contender within you, just bubbled over. And I want Dr. Michelle Pedicolis to share with us a moment in time when the contender in you just stood out.
Well, thank you, Cassandra. The contender in me stood out 2 years ago when I threw my hat into the international speech competition for District 57. I won the contest at the club level, both clubs, and I won the area contest. Maybe even before I won the area contest, I decided that I needed a coach. And so I reached out to our very own Cynthia Stott to help me to craft a speech that would be a winning speech. And then I won at the area contest and the division contest. And now suddenly I said, oh no, it's not good enough. And I changed the whole speech, which was probably not a good idea, but I wanted it to be perfect. And I knew that the way the speech was, it was a little too scattered, that it needed to be really focused. And so as a contender, I took the time, I engaged Cynthia to help me to get really focused on what it was. And if I had had another few weeks, I might have pulled it off. But in that district contest, what you find out with international speech competition at the higher levels is that everything has to fall into place. And I had vocal variety, I had humor, I had use of stage, I had body language, and I had vulnerability. But what you also need is that real coherence of the whole story, which now I could actually take that speech again and I could make it a winning speech.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is what I have to say about being a contender. Back to you. Oh, and let's see, what is the word of the day? That is celebrate. So I want to celebrate doing that because then I turned around the next year and got into the competition again. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Oh, wow. What a wonderful response. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle Pedicolis. And now let's see, how about a visitor, another visitor? Steve, today, tell us about a time when you worked really hard, but seemed to have fell short. However, you turned it around.
When I turn it around, you had me at the beginning when I fell short and I had something completely in my mind, but I didn't quite turn it around. So, so I'm going to run with it. It was about 15 years ago, and I had probably celebrated about 25 years with the company where I was working. And we had a product that was pretty complicated. And we were calling on customers, and I think I worked harder than anybody else. And I studied more than anybody else. And I probably made as many or more calls than anybody else, but I couldn't sell it. And it was a very difficult process for me because over the years, I had years where I was one of the top producers with the company, but with this particular situation at this particular time, I couldn't do it. And it got to be a problem because I was getting poor performance evaluations and I was trying to do everything I could not to make excuses, but sometimes I'd lose it and I'd start complaining or being less than positive. And it was a learning experience. And what I found out is that things don't always go well. And you're going to give it all you got, and it's not always going to turn out. So there's a learning experience. And sometimes the learning experience is, all right, I did it this way this time. If I ever get this opportunity again, I'm going to do it that way. And sometimes the learning experience is, hey, it is what it is. You gave it all you could, and it didn't work out. And it's been 15 years since I went through that. I'm still kicking. I'm still okay. I'm not with that company anymore. But I grew from it, even though it was not pleasant at the time. Back to you, Cassandra.
Thank you for that, Steve, today. And you know what? That's what I was looking for. Sometimes things just don't work out, and it's okay. You survive, but it was a learning experience, the journey. Let's see. How about, is that Paul? Do we have a Paul? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, and we have one more question.
Okay, how about Paul? Paul, you mind taking the question for me?
Oh, I feel privileged that you're going to give me one.
Yeah.
Okay. We have here, there's a journey in life. How would you take your journey in the sense that we open one door, another one closes? How would you pick for your next door that you would like to open? What would be behind that door? We're talking about new beginnings.
I used to have an ambition, and it was tied very closely to the enthusiasm that I felt for Toastmasters International, with a bit of emphasis on the word international. And the ambition I had was about this size, one of these ones, and it was that I would be in Toastmasters long enough for me, when I reached the age of 100, to make a speech called It's Never Too Late.
Mhm.
I have a personality type which has made it very easy for me to have huge ambitions from childhood. I've been fortunate enough to put a lot of these ambitions into the category fanciful. Now, Paul, you have to get on with achieving something, not in a number of years, but soon. And this is an opportunity for me to think out and say to you all, what's the next move for Paul? What do I do? And I'm going to become a much better speaker than I am. I'm going to stretch myself in the speaking area and going to learn from some very good people, may actually be in this audience. But I'm going to give up on the imagination that I'm going to be a great leader. I'm going to go down speaking rather than leading. And that's one of the reasons I'm so delighted you offered me a topics master.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Paul. I want to thank everyone for participating in Table Topics. I really appreciate your time and your effort and your answers. Back to you, Madam. table. It's back to you.
Thank
Marie?
you, Madam Table Topics Master. Great questions, super responses. Paul, you had me hanging on by every word, and then you pulled it out at the end. So that's wonderful. And now I will give you my last tidbit. We've talked about the theme of today's meeting, contender within you. When you've decided that you are no longer going to just sit back and wait, you can now complete your OATM requirements. You can complete your Triple Crown requirements by letting your newfound excitement and the enthusiasm that you gained by participating in the contest, you can let that boost your self-confidence. Get these things done, and that will take you to the next level of your experiences in Toastmasters International. And I promise you, it is a dream come true and a journey that we all should take at some point. And now that we have completed our table topic session, we will turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, Carrie Kelly, who will tell us what we did, what we didn't do, and how we could do it better. Carrie?
Well, hello, Toastmasters and guests, and thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. The first thing that I would like to do is call on our evaluators to give us the evaluations for our awesome speakers that we are celebrating today. Our first evaluator will be Steve today, and he will be evaluating our very first speaker, Denise. I'm not going to attempt that last name.
Maya Catherine.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maya Catherine. Take it away, Steve.
All right. Thank you very much, Carrie, and thank you very much, Maya. Today, right now, we're going to celebrate your speech. And it was a wonderful speech. And I'm going to start out with a remark that Dee Marie said after your speech was over, when she talked about preparation. And you were totally prepared. And the biggest clue that you were prepared was when we had that interruption, you didn't miss a beat. We got it resolved, and then you went right back to your speech as if nothing happened. And if somebody is not prepared, that's going to throw them off a little bit. But you handled it, and it was wonderful. Now, the speech itself, you got us involved with questions. You asked, how many of you like breakups? And that was a rhetorical question, and we can all relate to that. And then you asked another question, what do you do when it comes to breakups? And those got us involved, and those were really important because I think we leaned up in our chairs and listened more. Your ideas were great. I particularly like the way you handled the idea of, did you share an apartment together? Maybe you should move. But you didn't let it stay there because for some people, it's impossible to move. So you made the suggestion, if you can't move, maybe you can just change things around so it's not the same space. And I thought that was really important when you did that. Now, I've got a couple ideas. This was a great speech. You were, as I said, prepared, but just a couple of things you can try. I think it's really effective when you ask a question if you have a fairly long pause. How many of you like breakups? And maybe 4 or 5 heartbeats. And that will let all of us ponder it a little bit. Even though we know the answer, none of us like it, we'll ponder it. And the same with the second question you asked. Add some pauses. And then you had great suggestions, and those are your opportunities to move around the speaking area. So you talk about one idea here, one idea here. And if you start out farther back, you've got more places where you can move. So just that'll add to the movement. And this was a body language speech, so I think it's appropriate to talk about that. As I said, those are just ideas. Your messaging was excellent. We've all, if we haven't broken up with a partner, I've broken up with jobs. we've all had a breakup of some point. So it was a great message. You gave great suggestions. If you just add some pauses, move around the speaking area a little bit, this is going to be a fantastic speech. And I'm going to finish it up with your line of the day. Tough love is tough love, but remember there's love in tough love. And that's actually a good way to end the speech. So thank you, Maya.
Thank you so much. What a great evaluation. Our second evaluator will be Michelle Petticolas. Michelle, it's on you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Maya Angelou says, people will not remember what you say, they will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you make them feel. Fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, and guests, this is something really important for us to remember when we give an evaluation, especially in a speech contest. We want our speaker to feel motivated and inspired. And to that end, I'm going to talk about the best, what our speaker Diana did best, and what I can best convey to her that will help her improve her speech. First, Diana, celebrate your speech. It is a great speech. The topic is so important to me because I have a terrible time managing my time. So you really had me at the very beginning. And you started with a story. What a great way to engage us. Your own story of how you were not happy with your life because you were not managing it well. Then you move into the structure of the main points, and you talk about 4 points that are really rich in terms of content and information that I could use. I was taking my notes furiously because I wanted to use all of those. Review your life, see what's important. What are you going to put in the schedule? Set your boundaries. And then the ending could be a little more powerful. Also, in using your delivery, which is one of the other things I want to talk about, you used your hand gestures. One thing I would say is you had something in your hand. What was that? Was that like a remote or was that a cell phone? Get rid of
clicker.
it. Use your hands without anything in it. In terms of the structure, I would suggest that you have only 3 points. People remember best when there are only 3 points. See if you can bring that into the 3 points. And when you give your 3 points, tell a story or an example that brings it to life. So you don't have to give all those details or words. Let it be expressed through the story. And finally, I would invite you to give a call to action at the end for people to reach out to you if they have more questions, because you eventually want to use this speech as a way to get clients. It is a great call to action speech, a persuasive speech. So overall, I would say great speech, great content, structure, a little bit of work on the structure in terms of making it simpler so we can remember better. And finally, a more powerful call to action. And watch when you put your hands out of your space, but otherwise, great speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you so much, Michelle. Now I will call for our reports from our role players today. Our first report will be from our grammarian, who is Cynthia Stott. She gets to tell me how many ums and ahs I've already done.
I didn't
Cynthia,
hear any. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I didn't hear many ums and ahs from anyone today. Perhaps, Carrie, you give one, but I didn't hear them. I heard a lot of gems and not many germs either, and lots of words of the day. I heard, let's see, I heard Dee Marie say celebrate many, many times. And she also said a bunch of gems, make it part of you, the contender within you, which is our theme of the day, which she came up as a Toastmasters of the day. No longer sit back and wait. Wow, that was powerful. Then we had Cassandra, who also said our word of the day, celebrate, and she reiterated the theme, the contender within you, and gave us some amazing questions. Then Carrie gave us celebrate also. And Maya Catherine, Maya Catherine, focus, where your focus goes, energy goes. Energy flows. That's a powerful statement. Break up with things. That wonderful concept. Break up from intimate energy. That was an interesting one. And ghost of exes past. That was delightful. That was like a Christmas carol or something. And she talked a lot about new beginnings. And so did Diana. She said it's not about productivity, but it's about productivity is not about getting things done. It's about making more of my time. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Good words to live by. Routine chaos. That was great. Beginning of productivity. Goals in your calendar. Only get the scraps. That really resonated with me. Appointments with ourselves. And then Steve said celebrate twice. He said some amazing things. He said, you didn't miss a beat when we had our Zoom bomber. That was great. And he said 4 or 5 heartbeats for holding the pause. And then he said, turn it around. And at the end, there's love in tough love. He reiterated what Maya Catherine said in her powerful speech. And he gave celebrate twice. Michelle gave celebrate twice. And I love that she used the quote from Maya Angelou that people will forget what you said or you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. That's wow. Powerful, powerful stuff. She also said I was taking my notes feverishly. She was writing it. I love that she made her evaluation personal to her. She told her story through her evaluation. I thought that was a powerful, maybe even champion move. That was great. And yeah, that's it. Back to you, Madam GE.
Thank you so much. Our next report will come from our timer, Denise. Toastmaster Denise, give us our timings, please.
Thank you, Madam GE. All of our speeches and evaluations and table topics today were within time. Speaker number 1, Maya Catherine, came in at 6 minutes and 24 seconds, and that included about 10-12 seconds of some chatter interruption, and which was great because she kept it together. And speaker number 2, Diana, was at 6 minutes and 59 seconds. The table topic 1, 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Table topic 2 was 2 minutes, 18 seconds. And table topic 3 was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The evaluation of speaker number 1, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. And the evaluation of speaker number 2 was 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And I do apologize. I'm having some technical problems here with my computer, so I'm hoping that the greens and yellows and reds came up okay. They were kind of ghosty. So thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. I will say about this meeting, it has been a successful one, something for us to celebrate. We had a Zoom bomber that decided to visit us right in the middle of someone's speech. But she was such a trooper, didn't get distracted and kept it moving. Great job. We started on time. Everything has run very smoothly, even with the confession of technical difficulties. Everybody managed to be on time, stay on the time frames that were needed. And this open house and the speakers and the evaluators has been an absolute joy to be a part of today. That is my report for today, and I will turn this back over to, I believe, who do I send it to? The president? President Rosemary. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kelly. Let us celebrate our general evaluator by giving her a big clap. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kelly and her team, for taking us through an amazing evaluation session with our speeches. And I would encourage everyone, when coming to Leaders Worldwide meetings, kindly hold your notebook, because there are nuggets you might just not remember after, and they are very, very important. At this time, I will call on our guests to tell us how they enjoyed our meeting and who invited them. So, okay, we'll start off with who was not there at the beginning. Let us ask Toastmaster Paul, distinguished Toastmaster Paul, tell us how we enjoyed our meeting.
I'd like to thank Cynthia Stott for inviting me. I'm hope that I will be on this club's list of people who receive advanced information about future meetings. I have been before, and I was very disappointed today because I arrived late.
You'll get it.
It would be churlish of me if I didn't say a huge thank you to the person who offered me the topic. You know, I need a lot of practice, and I'm looking for it. And thank you very, very much. You're such a great bunch of people. I'm quite sure, you know, I would learn from lots of contact with you all. And thank you very much, Madam President.
You're welcome. So we have to fix that, where you get our invites on time. And, well, our family guests, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Michelle.
I can't find my mouse. I can see where the mute is. I just can't find my mouse. It sort of hides, a little scurries around. I really, really enjoyed this meeting. The speeches were outstanding. Your two speakers were just fabulous and such delight. In fact, I took notes on the first one as well to practice my evaluation points. Both of them were excellent. And the table topics, Cassandra, you were awesome. What great questions. Thank you so much. And you asked me first, and I'm like, I'm trying to think about my evaluation. What do you mean calling me into table topics?
Thank you. It's nice to see you, Michelle. Come back anytime.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And it was just a really delightful, well-run meeting. Everybody was just fabulous. Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you, Michelle. And Steve.
I also had a great time, and I thank Cynthia for inviting me and allowing us to practice our evaluations. And when Michelle and I are not evaluating speeches, we're doing Toastmasters Time TV. And could you please spotlight Michelle too, and because we'd like to invite the Leaders Worldwide to participate. So But Michelle, what does Toastmaster time mean to you?
Toastmaster time is an opportunity to get a recording of a signature speech at a professional studio. It also is an opportunity to get your message out to a lot more people in a format that is really going to wow people. So we share your message on our Toastmaster Time TV YouTube channel, and then we also will post it on Facebook, Toastmasters International, the district, so that you get coverage. Plus, it's actually shown out all over Palo Alto and that whole area over there. So it's a great way to get exposure and also to get a recording of your speech that it would probably cost you $1,000 to get, at least. Right. I don't even know how much it would cost now. And also, you experience what it's like to speak in front of a camera, which is very different from Zoom, and it's very different from in person. And you also get interviewed, which is a lot of fun as well, often and most often by Steve Today, who is our host. So we encourage you to reach out to either Steve or me, and we will put you, we will start to look at, what dates you could possibly make. We speak on the second Wednesday of the month, and it's late, so you don't have to get into traffic. By the time you leave, most of the traffic is gone. You need to get there by 8 o'clock. And we invite you to come first as an evaluator so you can get the lay of the land. We also need evaluators. Back to you, Steve.
Right. I've had a lot of fun. I've been involved with Toastmasters Time for a year. And as Michelle said, I've been the host. And then Justin Perez, who is, in fact, Justin won the evaluation contest last year for District 57, has been the host the last couple of months in my absence because I couldn't make it on those particular Wednesday nights. But it's a great opportunity to deliver your speech. And then also there's other roles, and you could be part of the committee to help us put the show together. The most time-consuming part is finding the speakers every night, every month, because sometimes you have to make a few phone calls, but the more people that are searching for speakers, the easier it goes and the more people that get opportunities. So I put my email address into the chat. Anybody that would like to contact me, I'd be glad to help out. We do it in person. So we don't have a setup right now where you can travel or go via Zoom. But if you're in the District 57 area, if you're located here, we'd love to have you on the show. And sometimes there's carpooling available.
Where are you located? Where is it located?
The show's in Palo Alto on San Antonio Road. I live in Alameda. It takes me about 35 or 40 minutes to get there. I was nervous the first time because I thought there'd be a lot of traffic, but like Michelle said, if you leave, I personally leave Alameda at about 10 after 7, and I'm there in plenty of time. So it's no traffic.
And we do really try and help you set up carpools because that makes a huge difference.
Okay. I'm interested.
Great.
Great.
So what I would like to do, I'm affiliated with a local TV station here in Nashville, Tennessee. And it's a community TV station where we can go in and use TV space, recording studio and all of that. I want to know if there's some way that I can do my speech here, get it to you, and put it on TV time there.
Well, Alan would be the talk. Alan Zorster has been doing this the longest, and he knows all the
ins and
different
outs,
ways of doing things. And I'll check with him. That might
Touch
work.
bases
Maybe
with you
doing
again,
a remote.
Steve. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Paul, we
thank
might work out. It might work out for a particular themed meeting. And we'll look also at what the topics are that are coming up. That might then be suitable.
Thank you.
When Michelle says theme, we did a great one. I wasn't at that particular one a month ago, but March was Women's History Month. And Michelle led a panel discussion with two past district directors, two past district directors, Diane Ployce, Bette Bolhofer, and then past division director and real longtime leader in District 57, Sharon Brown. And it was a great conversation. And Michelle facilitated that just in a remarkable way.
Well, thank you, Steve. And our next Toastmaster Time TV is going to be the Gavel Club. And we're going to have 3 speakers from the Gavel Club, which, if you don't know what the Gavel Club is, because I certainly didn't, is young people who are too young to be in Toastmasters. So they form Gavel Clubs to learn how to speak. And I'm very excited to see how that turns out.
Thank you for giving us all that information. So anyone in that area, kindly check Steve or Michelle. And at this time, I want to thank, as I said, our Toastmaster of the Day. She had amazing pointers for us, and our table topic master with all those questions which got us thinking. I was like, okay. And the respondents were right on point.
Cynthia has her hand raised with a question, I think.
I
just wanted to chime in that we have had people travel for the Toastmaster Time TV. Rosemary, I always get Rosemary and Rosalind mixed up. Rosalind traveled from LA up to San Francisco airport to
participate
be on it. It's about 10 miles from there, so it's very close. And we do have people in the area that you might be able to stay over, so you wouldn't have to pay for the expense of a plane, of a hotel. What was that, Michelle?
Yes, she came in and she's also interested in coming back. So that's how good she thinks the experience is.
Yeah, and Carrie has been on as a speaker, but she's also been on as a great evaluator. And there's an opportunity to even be a host. So she might have that in her future. So thank you so much. We've got to have you guys back for a real speech. Thank you so much, Michelle and Steve.
Thank you, Cynthia. And at this time, I will call on our Vice President Education to take over this portion of the meeting if she has organized.
Thank you, President.